Have you started to get people come up to you and say that they know you, or they feel like they know you?
Once, just literally, a guy just stops me. Do you do videos on LinkedIn? Yeah. And I was like 10 feet tall after that.
Yeah.
And then one just the other day, guys with his mate, he's like, Dave. I was like, all right, mate, yeah. And he's like, yeah, look, we're not hiring at the moment because he's just started up himself. But when we do, I'll make sure you know. That's what I'm doing it for, essentially. So that when time comes, Dave's the guy.
Welcome back to another episode of RecTalk. I'm your host, Nitin Sharma, founder and CEO of RecTools.io, co-founder of RecCircle, co-founder of the Recruitment Curry Club, and a whole host of other weird and wonderful shit that I like to get involved in. My guest today, you'll recognise him from LinkedIn. He makes the most bang average videos. Was that was at one point, right? Yeah, it's David Durant from Virtuous Talent. David, first of all, mate,
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it, mate.
You came on my radar from your videos, right? Which I imagine a lot of people will know you from.
Hopefully.
And we've been talking off camera about sort of what are we going to make this episode about? Because I think there's already a lot of stuff out there around kind of market and things are like this and things are like that and so on and so forth. And obviously, Virtuous Talent are a well-respected rec-to-rec agency, and long may that continue. But I really wanted to pick your brains on this video piece because. Yeah, we can call it personal branding. We can call it marketing. We can call it. I call it sales, right?
Yeah.
A lot of my stuff comes from the videos that I put out, and I don't have to do much outbound at all. But that takes time to get to. So I wanted to kind of give you this platform to talk about sort of the decision making process. Yeah. And then let's talk about the kind of imposter syndrome piece and the sort of social anxiety piece that comes from grabbing your phone and clicking record.
There's a lot of that.
I'm off the back of being at the team conference last week, right? Yeah. Great event. My LinkedIn feed is absolutely full of pictures and videos of people that people took. I took 0 pictures. Yeah. And, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh man, I really need to get used to grabbing the phone and going, could you take a quick picture?
That's it, yeah.
So, I'm guilty of it. So, but first of all, mate, really appreciate you making the journey.
Oh, I'm really grateful for you asking me, honestly. It's amazing. I've never done anything like this before, so.
It's chill, it's nice and easy.
It certainly is,
You can swear if you want to, you can...
that was one thing I was happy to hear on some of your podcasts. I was like, don't know if I can get through 45 minutes of that, dropping an F-bomb or two.
Yeah, mate, I had to go and work for myself and had to stop my own shit because, I just can't do it. But yeah, cool. Look, you've been in recruitment how long?
Long time, all in all. Started off in late 2010, 2011, something like that. A couple of years in agency. Bit of a shit house, to be honest with you, and decided, look, I'll go internal and go and do the easier stuff, and did that for many years, getting up 7, 8 years, something like that, and then come back into agency as the old dog, trying to learn some new tricks, and just enjoying being back in the mixer of it all.
Yeah, because you hadn't done rec-to-rec before, right? So this is completely a sort of a new gig.
But I have always recruited salespeople and recruiters, so very much similar in the type of people that you're looking for in Manchester as well. So I've known the companies to trying to look for the right people from, etc. So I've always had a finger on the pulse of in the Manchester market, but now with Virtus, we're doing all the major cities, which is an interesting, the different types of people, especially your Londons to your Manchesters and etc. So that's been great.
Big difference, I imagine. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, at what point did you go? I need to do something different like this.
Yeah,
just, you know what I mean. I need to, or at what point, have you got like a personal TikTok channel that you're like, I'm sick at video, I'm just going to do that for work now?
Not at all. No, probably over. So started in literally first day of January 2023, back at Virtus, and just being very honest, first 18 months were pretty bang average, just like the videos, and I just thought I need to stand out. I need to, number one, even as experienced as I am and as old as I am, I still had that cold calling anxiety, but I just felt if I can get people to just have seen me, and that for some reason in my mind that means that it's less cold and maybe they might recognise me and it might be a little bit of a warmer call, strangely enough. And
where did that thought process come from though? Like, have you experienced that yourself, or did you go, did you read something and went, okay, Gary Vee keeps talking about this shit?
More so just the times when you have called someone and they've gone, Dave, not right now, 3 months. Even that call that's just slightly warmer, and that gives me more confidence to go and make that call 3 months time, probably more like 2, because they always shorten it, don't we? So that was one of the big things, and then the other was literally just standing out. There are a lot of rec-to-rec agencies out there. I mean, no matter my feeling towards the quality of them, they still do really well. So I have to try and at least, do something, I think, now to stand out from the crowd. And
okay, so this is driven by the fact that saturated market. There's a lot of people out there. How do I get people to know who I am over and above anyone else?
And I care a lot less about what people think now. So if someone had said, Dave, do this 10 years ago, I'd have gone, there's no way. Because what about what my friends say, and what will they say, and will the people in the company like it, and etc. But it's just to a point now where, I don't really care.
What do the friends say? Because I heard that one a lot.
Yeah, it's exactly what you think. Anything that goes on in a group conversation, a group text, a group day out in the pub. Oh, Dave, why don't you make a video about that? It's like, there's always a bit of piss taking going on at the end of the day. But now it's actually got to a point where like, Dave really liked that, what you did the other day. That was quite funny, that actually, Dave. And it's like, right, you kind of turn them, but you do have to get through that first few posts or first few months barrier of the fact that you're going to get a bit of piss taken out of you. But it's part of the course, really.
I think so. Look, I had it, right? People were like, people. I've got a group chat with my nearest and dearest, and group chat with my nephews and my cousins and all that sort of stuff. Who, absolutely. They'd be like, mate, that looks stupid, or what are you doing that for, or you said this thing, and I had one period of time where my nephews would go through, because I stutter a bit every now and then, and they literally clipped all of it, and they're like, what's all of this? And I'm just
That's brilliant how quick they are doing that as well.
But it was like, that's coming from a funny but a good place, right? Because they're like, look, we want you to do well with this, so like, sort this out, sort that out.
Yeah.
I get complimented on my kicks all the time, right? And I was like, because my yellow sixes, and they're like, oh mate, they're really sick.
Did you have them on with Julia?
Yeah, intentionally, right?
Yeah, of course.
But they were like, that was purely my nephews, because they were like, listen, your fucking channel's starting to get a bit of traction now, and you wear some dreadful trainers. Like, you need to fucking sort that out. And I'm like, okay, so what? And they're like, look, we're going to send you what you need to buy. Just buy it. Like, don't look at the price. Just go, okay.
Yeah.
And just trust us. And I was like, oh, yeah, fine. And then people started being like, oh, mate, they're sick. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Boys, what else should I buy?
I had a couple of guys ask me about a hoodie that I've worn, or trainers or whatever, even though my stuff is super cheap, non-branded or whatever, but they still want to know where it's from. I was like,
well, I started wearing the on almost all my episodes, except for today, because they're all in the wash, but my boys get sad hoodies, right?
Oh yeah.
And people have really started to be like, oh yeah. I love the fact that you always wear that on and that's when you know that, oh, okay, these are landing now. This isn't just people are watching because it's there. People are going out to find this stuff, or they're picking up and remembering certain bits. Yeah. Which is the whole point in this thing, right? Is if I do something regular enough and do it on a consistent basis enough, eventually people start relating me as that person who does X, Y, and Z. Yeah. That just so happens to also do this. This being rec-to-rec in your term.
That's right? Exactly right. Yeah, and it's starting to happen now, which I'm really starting to see. That what I set out to do was to just for people to know who I am when I call them. Even if it's not off by name, David Durant from Versus Talent, Rec-to-Rec, right? I think you like one of my videos once. Oh, right, yeah. And that's all I'm set out to do, because that just anxiety just goes boom, straight down. I'm super comfortable with it. Now we go. Even if it's, look, Dave, not hiring at the moment, that's fine. But it starts to build the confidence.
Have you started to get people come up to you and kind of say that they know you, or they feel like they know you?
It's only two people on like when I've been out in Manchester, because Manchester's full of recruiters probably half the time in the pubs and the bars. Once just literally, I was just about walking to a bar, a guy just stops me. Do you do videos on LinkedIn? Yeah. And I was like 10 feet tall after that. Exactly right. And then
can you do that again, but when I'm with my mates?
Yeah, exactly. And then one just the other day, Liverpool-Everton game, just went to watch it in the pub. I'm just there, just on my phone on my own. The guy's with his mate. He's like, Dave. I was like, all right, mate, yeah. And he liked a lot of my stuff, guy Ty. And he was like, yeah, look, we're not hiring at the moment, because he's just started up himself. But when we do, I'll make sure you know. And that's what I'm there. That's what I'm doing it for, essentially. So that when time comes, Dave's the guy.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. So you're starting to see the fruits of the work. And I want to say hard work. What's the hardest part about it?
Oh, sometimes it could take a decent amount of time. If I have to do a lot of if it's a conversation between two people who are both me, I have to go between, and sometimes I'll miss something that I'm supposed to say in reaction to that guy's thing, so I have to go back. So there's times when so I don't do anything in between 9 and 5, 9 and 6 or whatever in the office. So it's always after hours that I'm doing it. So I've been in the office till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, doing all the bits and the different bits. I've been there on the weekend for 3-4 hours at a time and stuff. Yeah, every now and again. It doesn't happen all the time, but
do you not think that that's part of work though?
No, I do enjoy it though. That's the thing. Like I enjoy doing that bit. So it's not like, oh, I've got to go and do this video now. It's like, oh, cool.
Okay, now I'm going to film some
videos, I can go do the video. I enjoy doing that. And then once you've got a finished product off the back of that few hours that you have put in, it's so gratifying. You can get it out there, and then, well, sometimes I was going to say, and then you get good engagement. But the ones that I've put the most effort into actually have done the worst. Like, it's the ones which are really simple, quick conversation, bam, 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 between two people on the phone that have done the best, or literally a one-taker with me. I know what I'm going to say, and I say it, and I cut it up a little bit, maybe if there's any ums and ahs and stuff. And those ones have done the best. Like the Jackal one, that's the one that you saw.
Yeah.
That's the one that didn't do very well. I was like, oh, I put so much effort into that one, making it a bit more creative. But it's one of them, you just got to roll with the punches onto the next one, and you'll get peaks and troughs in the engagement.
Do you ever re-release them or ever put them back out again?
I haven't quite been doing them long enough to do them, but I know that does work. I've seen, followed Tom Boston for long enough that he does kind of weave a couple of older ones into his new stuff. So, yeah, you can repurpose it. Now that I've got a lot more followers than I did have. There's some ones that I know that I could redo quite easily.
Because the key thing to understand is the way the sort of the algorithm on LinkedIn works, right? In the LinkedIn will show whatever you post, be it a poll or some boring bunch of text about being a guru or whatever. They'll show it to like 10% of your audience, right? And depending on how the engagement level is, not just likes and shares or whatever and comments, but actual kind of watch time and so on.
Yeah.
And then based on that, they'll decide whether it's going to go out to a further 10% or 20% of your audience and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And actually, it could be the time of day you posted it or the time of month that it was, that your target audience, being recruiters, would have been like, this is really funny, this guy's usually really funny, but fuck, I'm going to get in trouble if I watch this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my boss is like prowling, it's quarter end.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be sat on LinkedIn right now.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's stuff I probably will bring back around, and there's none of it really is like related to like pop culture at the time or anything like that. So I can repurpose,
that's it.
Repurpose a lot of it. Like one that did really well right at the start was me talking about if you've been out on a Thursday night and you come in on the Friday, if you're late, what to do. Like cry and tell them that you'll do loads of stuff, that you make loads of promises and stuff. So that's one that once it starts getting sunny and everyone's back on the beer, you can get that straight back out there.
That's always relevant.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. Okay, fair. So tell me about the creative process then. So you're sitting there, are you storyboarding these things? Are you sitting there and like kind of scripting them, or are you just going, okay, I've got an idea, let me just like freeball this?
Well, it's exactly what you said, to be honest with you, on previous pods. Is like in a recruitment office, everything is funny, pretty much. Mm-hmm. You speak to so many people who you can. There's elements of comedy that you can bring out of almost every conversation that you have, whether that be trainee candidates who have graduated in 2024 and are still trying to tell you that they've just graduated and they've been travelling. And where have you been travelling? Oh, well, went to Ibiza and went to Amsterdam. Oh, that was travelling, was it? Right, okay. And you still haven't got to right, okay.
Love
so that's one that I did. Or whether it's
could work.
or it could be
I went to Grimsby.
Or it could be a client who, because our clients are recruitment business owners, obviously, and directors who told you never cold call them again, and then they're going to come off the phone and tell their people to cold call. Get back on the phones. But like I say, what I'm getting at is everything could be talked about. It doesn't have to be a video at the end of the day. It could be something you just write
everything's content, right? I say this to my team all the time.
Yeah,
exactly that you guys are in a very fortunate position in that you get to speak to an entire multitude of different type of people, all of which are doing or saying something that can be resonated with in some way, be it a laugh and a joke, or be it okay, that's really insightful, interesting information, or whatever.
Could be quite serious.
There's your content. Just go and talk about that.
Definitely.
Right? You don't have to be a LinkedIn guru. You don't have to be like, oh, this is how the best recruiters operate or whatever. Just I've just spoken to somebody who mentioned this, and this, and I think that's fascinating. I wanted to share that with everyone.
Yeah, exactly right.
What say you? Right,
100%. And anytime that a little idea comes to mind, I just got a little black book basically that I just write a little idea and try and give a bit of detail to it, so when I come back to it in a week's time, I'm not, what the hell was that? Like, what
how drunk was I when I wrote this?
Yeah, I just wrote in the book once, "I'm a recruiter, get me out of here," and I was like, but what does that mean to me? Like a week later, it's obviously something to do with Celeb, get me out of here. But
at the time, it was all there, right?
Everything.
And then,
So less so, I suppose, about storyboarding in a sense of writing it down, but more just a sense of writing an idea.
But when you are doing the the 2-person, the back and forth thing and whatever, are you scripting that or storyboarding that? Because that must be hard.
So because a lot of the time it's just I don't know, 5 seconds, boom, boom, boom. Not necessarily scripting it, but at times I've done not longer form, but a couple of minutes of one take. So it's when I pretend to be a 90s recruiter, talking about basically how hard it was back then, how tough it was on you, like these 90s footballers do now, saying back in my day, exactly the same. I'm talking there for about 2.5 minutes, so to an extent, I do have to script out a little bit and pointers on what I'm going to say and stuff like that, and then just
because I know there's people out there that will be sat there going, oh yeah, I've got some really funny things I could do, like a back and forth on, but I've got and how would I film it? Do I sit there and be like, so Nitin, what do you think of this? And then jump up, quickly run around there, redo my hair, and be like, oh well, I think of this, and then jump back again and hood back up. You know what I mean? Like,
you've got to. I just do. I have a pair of glasses. That changes the thing. So I'll wear a hoodie in one and a different colour hoodie in the other, and then the bloke with the glasses
guy is different, right?
And I'll film everything of what I'll film everything of one side, knowing obviously what the other side is going to say and me reacting to that, and then just change it up. I'll just go to a different corner of the office so the background looks a bit different, and then I'll film that guy's side of things, and then just put it all into CapCut and just cut it and chop it, auto captions, and pretty little title thing at the start so people know what it is to try and get them to actually look at it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I do all of my video editing, and now Tristan, my former dev, who now works for me again, thank God.
Yeah.
A, I needed it, and B, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He uses CapCut to do all the podcast editing, and people are always like, "What do you mean? Don't you use like Logic
Adobe
Pro or Adobe and Logic Pro for the audio?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, I'm GarageBand and CapCut all the way."
Yeah.
It works. It works well.
Yeah. The biggest issue that I did have, and if people have seen this probably on their own videos as well, is because I do use is it called a lavalier mic? Lavalier mic. Yeah. Something happens within LinkedIn in particular. Don't have to do it for TikTok or anything else, where there's a lag between audio and visual. So I had to do my own digging into this. Like I asked LinkedIn about it, and they didn't have a clue. These people coming back to you on email. And basically, there's an open source piece of software called Handbrake, and all you've got to do is download Handbrake, and you just put every single video through there, and you just change. It's called the frame rate from from variable to constant. You just click a button that changes between the two, and then you encode it. It sets it back up for you into a folder, and then you upload that onto LinkedIn, because for some reason LinkedIn's got this variable frame rate thing that makes it the audio visuals out basically.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, it's all around it's the frames per second, and the audio, because the audio will be constant, but the video will kind of slightly lag and it'll be behind.
Yeah.
That's just LinkedIn. Yeah. Because absolutely, they are focusing on video, right? Without getting too sort of like marketing geek on everyone, but their focus is video. That is what they're trying to make happen.
Yeah.
And so number one, you're gonna have to get on it at some point if you want to continually, be relevant. But more importantly, I just don't think that their product is built for the amount of video. YouTube was always built for video. TikTok was always built for video.
Yeah.
Facebook, Meta, and Insta, and all the rest of those channels were built with video in mind.
Yeah.
LinkedIn never was. It was a business networking site.
Yeah. The toughest thing I'm finding at the moment is these sponsored ones. Like, how are they allowed to show me that 10 times a day?
Yeah.
Like it could be anything that has no relevance to me. One was about a dance performance thing. It was just these people just dancing just constantly on my feed. So I had to do I don't want this anymore. I don't like doing that, but
no, but do you know what? That's the advertising agency, I think, that have got to hold their hands up there and be like, okay, we're stealing people's money here, because I get a lot of those sponsored posts.
Yeah.
And fortunately, or promoted posts, fortunately, it's always the same RecTech suppliers.
Okay.
You know, it's things like Quill and Recruiter Flow and Pager come up quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's where you're like, okay, you guys are spending money on in the right place because I'm in the recruitment sector and you're hitting me with it, right? Yeah. But yeah, if I'm getting a dance studio thing come up, I'm gonna be like, right, you know, I'm gonna click this ain't relevant to me. But also, I'd be thinking, like, I personally would be like, I'm gonna shoot these guys a message, and be like, guys, your advertising agency is taking a piss out of you.
True, I never even thought about it like that, to be fair. But I get a couple of recruitment, like Retrained has been, I've seen that quite a few times. Quite a few times, sorry, but when it's just so irrelevant and it's literally 10 times a day when you're scrolling through it, I'm sorry, I've got to click it, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because you need your feed to be, like, you need it to be relevant to you.
Yeah.
Right? That's the point. And that's the whole point in all of it, which is it kind of the whole concept for me around algorithms and stuff is really important to understand if you're thinking about getting into video content or just posting more on LinkedIn, because we're in a world now where we're in the For You world, right? For You pages are a thing. You create content and you put it out there and let the platform put it in front of the people that are interested in this stuff. So it's now even easier than it ever was before to hit the audience that you want. Yeah. And you must have this as well. I mean, the number of times I get a post that I put out a week or two ago get liked or commented on, and I'm like, so it's still doing the rounds. Because historically it got to a point where there was an increase, I think, in like the stats were done in sort of 2021, 2022, and there was an increase in like 300% in terms of the volume of content being put onto LinkedIn.
Right.
And so it was becoming increasingly difficult to remain relevant. So people were like, I've got to post 7 or 8 times a day just to get one of my things seen by my audience, because people's feeds are just, you know, if you go on your feed now and press refresh, it's a completely different feed. Yeah. And if you accidentally press refresh while reading something that you thought you wanted, it's gone, right? It's in the ether.
Yeah, it's gone.
Whereas they're working on that now, and we're in that For You world where, no, all this stuff is relevant to you, which I think is all the more important reason to go, okay, I'm going to do video. But you mentioned the cold call anxiety. Is there not an anxiety when you're picking up the phone and going, okay,
massively, yeah. That's why the first few that I did, it was all, it didn't have any script to it. It was just me messing about over music. So first one was me like, this is what I do when I'm in the office on my own, because when everyone else is working from home, and it was just me dancing about and just being stupid. That's fine. And then another one where it's like me in the mirror as cold calling sessions about to happen in 5 minutes, and I'm like crying in the cubicle and all that kind of stuff, and then I had to sort of build up a little bit of confidence to get to a point where I start talking on it and being a bit more daft and acting a little bit more and that kind of thing. So 100% you get that, definitely, but it's easy somewhere to start. You know, you can just start by doing, hi LinkedIn, this is a job that I've got, and it's not going to get much engagement, but at least you're just starting, and then you'll build up the confidence, and then maybe you'll start to do a little bit more value add, or a little bit more do a walk and talk, like the Gary Neville video I call him, because he's always walking through Manchester doing his walk and talk, so something like that as well. But
there's so many recruiters that do that as well now.
I know,
it's all people in the supply the supplier world that I deal with.
They're easy to do as well, so it's, as I say, just more building confidence and getting your face out there and stuff like that. But once it gets to a point where I'm starting to act and I'm actually actively trying to make people laugh, as they say with comedians, that's the hardest thing to do. So, but I don't get the immediate feedback, which is fine. If people hate it, I'll never know. I'll just get a few likes, and if it doesn't do so well, on to the next one.
And so, do the positive comments encourage you to do more?
Yeah, definitely. Because the best thing for me is when somebody comes in my DM and just goes, "Dave, that was really cool." Like even Rec to Recs do it now. Like one of the guys was saying, because he does videos, or they do a few videos, and he was saying like, oh, you're speaking to a client, and the client had seen their videos, but also said, you are competing with David Durant, aren't you, there? Like, and I was like, yes. That was just brilliant to hear, do you know what I mean?
That thing now, haven't you? Like,
yeah.
Me. Yeah.
So that's really cool to hear that kind of stuff as well.
No, that's fair. How is your boss with it, though? I say your boss, he's your mate, effectively, isn't he? But, like, as a company, how are they with you doing this? Because, again, that's going to be a challenge for some who are working for someone else, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Like, I get... what creative license is that the word, I suppose, but I know where the line is as well. Like, I can't be seen to hurt the business, so I'm never going to be over the top, you know, saying certain things or being a certain way or whatever. I've got to, I can't be doing mad accents or anything really and pissing any people off, you know. I might get away with a Scouse or a Yorkshire or something, but I won't be going any further afield than that, you know. But yeah, that is...
Does an entire video in blackface in a Nigerian accent, like, mate, this is not okay. You can't do that.
That won't be happening, I don't think. But I can totally understand that people will have bosses out there who are a lot more on it. Like,
well, there's a lot more traditional business owners out there and traditional bosses, right?
Yeah.
The ones that you take the piss out of in the videos, right? In the
pretty much.
Don't cold call me ever again.
Yeah.
Guys, get back on the phones. They're not going to sit there and be like, can I ask you to make some videos, please? Yeah.
No, they're not. Well, and they might even, you know, put the shackles on you as well and say what you're doing. You can't do that. And I had it working for like for PHMG for a big, like, they're a marketing firm ultimately, and they're a marketing team. And it was, even if I wanted to just post if it was a picture, video of the office, because they have pretty sick offices, they'd be like, Dave, take that down. We've got airbrush ones that we want people to see, so we'll give you one if you want to do that. But
that's where marketing can be a bit of a a kind of hindrance, because they're very it's sort of focused on brand and tone, and you know that's not in quite line with brand guidelines. You know, that's fine, but people are crying out for a level of authenticity that isn't out there.
It's the whole authenticity thing, like these, like, you know, the old school recruitment videos where it's all in slow-mo and clinking glasses and stuff. Like, nobody wants to see that really anymore. They want to see just, like, you know, a picture of people playing paddle, or them all going for a run together or whatever, and it's just a little so it's a lot more authentic when you just see iPhone pictures just taken. Everyone looks like they're just reacting to the photo.
There's that one that I know, and we're both thinking about.
Yeah, we're both thinking about the same one.
I know Andy Hallett shared it again recently, and I was like,
it begins with H. The company begins with H, because I looked it up about 3 months ago, and it's still out there. The company's not going.
Oh really?
The video's still there.
Yeah.
Getting on the PJ and the matching outfits and stuff.
Yeah, getting on the Oh yeah.
So good.
I was like, fuck is this? There's that TikTok video as well recently that's been taking a piss out of, and they're like, we're recruiters, of course we've got a beer tap in the office.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, fucking, I wish I had a beer tap when I was. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
100%, yeah. It was, but again, if you stick your neck out the parapet, is it the word? But then, you know, you're going to get, people are going to come for you. And like I was saying to you before, I got my first little
I was going to say, how much
negative
hate comments and like shit like that do you get?
I don't think you find it too much on LinkedIn, because I'm not really being very, you know, out there. I'm just, it's the subject of what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm taking a piss out of people sometimes, you know, job titles on LinkedIn when they're calling themselves ex-Google and entrepreneur and head of vibes and all that kind of stuff. I was taking the piss, which most people understood. Everyone understood, in fact. But if you could take it onto TikTok, which I've tried to, I think literally it was when you and I had the first conversation. You were like, got to get on TikTok. So I was, okay, I'll give it a go. I had my first little bits of hate, but it's just generally about recruiters, as you can imagine, outside, because you're taking it way outside of the business setting, aren't you? And that's where most people hate recruiters. So yeah, I've got a little bit of that now, but that was kind of a little bit of a badge of honor for me, you know, like, okay, it's hitting people outside of that, and people don't like it, and that's fine, because you need it to be, you need some people to. Yeah,
it used to bother me a lot, right? Because I get the occasional. I would say out of 10 videos, maybe one shitty comment.
Yeah.
And it used to really bug me.
Really?
And I'd get to the point where, it was really bizarre. And I'd get to the point where I'd like start typing a response back and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of like, look at this in the grander picture. This is somebody who has obviously had a bad experience with recruiters and recruitment businesses, and doesn't have a good perception of recruiters, right? Number one, that's not my problem to fix.
Yeah.
And number two, I don't blame him for being pissed off, because actually there's some real shit businesses out there.
There is.
And so there's some real like awful service that goes out, right? So of course they're going to be annoyed and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, I had to sort of almost train myself to be like, just ignore it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's still watching. They're still watching. You know, this person took the time out to be like, you know what? I'm really annoyed at how, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's one person that chose to do that versus the 3,500 other people that watched it and enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
You know, and so but I think that's quite a common human trait, isn't it? That sort of, not just social anxiety piece, but that sort of imposter syndrome bit of like, okay, should I really be doing this? Is this really like,
because
am I the right person to do this? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, well, I was wary about maybe trying to do too much, like adding value, whereby, you know, telling people how to interview and stuff like that. Like, I think that is probably the thing that I know most about, because I've interviewed, probably yourself as well, like I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of sales and recruitment people, both face to face, on the phone. So I know, I tell them, you know, I tell people this when I'm going to help prep them for interviews, why they should use me as a rec is because I know what a good interview looks like, and I know what a bad one looks like. But I've stayed clear of maybe giving too much value, that side of things, because I don't want to be this, you're trying to be a thought leader in this space or whatever, even though I'm pretty sure I know as well as most about how, you know, especially a trainee, which I've been doing more, can get into recruitment and what they should be saying and that kind of thing. But so I've tried to steer clear of that and just try to be just humorous in all honesty.
Why stay clear of the or why? That's interesting, because you went, you know, you're trying to be a thought leader. Why is that such a bad thing, or like a negative thing for you to be like, no, I'm not?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that maybe ties into the imposter syndrome to an extent of, like, even though I maybe in my mind I'm confident that I know plenty about it, to then go out there and give that information is something quite different, even though I do it every day. You know, with trainees in particular, and that's an interesting one, because it's sort of like, well, is that imposter syndrome, or, you know, is that you're lacking an element of narcissism that these people have? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I always used to think that. I used to be like, I don't really want to be making videos about, like, this is what my thoughts on the recruitment industry and that kind of thing. Yeah. And I had to really train myself into doing it, because I was always afraid of the people are going to be like, look at this twat. Well, this is it. And like, what have you fucking done, Dave? You built £1 million, mate. No, I don't want to listen to you, because there's all these blokes that I can listen to on these other podcasts that are going to tell me how to do it. So there's an element of that as well. Like, I haven't earned the right to an extent, you know. Yeah. I mean, I learned a little while ago that actually a lot of these guys who have build the £1 million and done the exit and that kind of thing, couldn't replicate it. They couldn't do it again. Sure. You know, it's lightning in a bottle stuff for a lot of these guys. When you look at actually breaking down, right, what did you do? How did you do it? Oh, okay, so you landed in the right place at the right time with the right type of market. Yeah, you had grit, determination, and a focus on it, but the market was incredibly kind to you. You also benefited from maybe, you know, people around you or benefactors that were involved. Yeah. And then you managed to sell the business. That's great. Why are you now trying to charge £1,500 a day to 10 businesses, you know, for 10 days of your month to give them advice, when you've now got the financial backing that you didn't have when you last time that you did this, and you could triple or quadruple what you made because you haven't got the financial barrier anymore? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm that good at running a recruitment agency, why would I not just be like, I'm going to keep all these tricks and things that I learned to myself and just do it again? Yeah. And this time I've got cash in the bank to really make a go of it and not make the mistakes that I made along the way. Because actually, probably there's a part of you that also believes that you probably couldn't do this again. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sure there's massive parts of that for sure.
But that's just yeah.
There are some things that I'd like to delve a little bit more into and take the piss out of quite serious stuff, to be honest. But I'm just wondering whether that is taking it a little bit too far. So, you know, how, you know, recruitment in particular treats mental health. How I think the barrier to entry for non-white males is much higher than it is for white males, basically. You know, I would like to take the piss out of that a little bit as well. But again, it's just whether is that a little bit too much? Is that a little bit too serious? Could that damage the brand of the business and stuff? But
I like you, and I'll be honest, you won't get away with doing blackface, though. I kind of feel like you're edging towards it.
No, not at all.
I don't say that unless you do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
more me being the boss who rejects the person who isn't the
mate. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, look, and this, I don't want to use this as a way of plugging my shit, but that was a very massive part as to why we set RecCircle up and why we built it in the way we did. Originally, it was going to just be a standardized job board for recruiters and recruitment businesses.
It's fully anonymized.
Do you know what I mean? And then we were like, no, actually, look, what problem are we solving here, really, by just putting a rec-to-rec job board out there? It didn't make any sense. Yeah. I think the play is this. And we looked into it, did a bit of research, and actually we were like, look, there's good billers, not necessarily top billers. Yeah. Because you guys, any good rec-to-rec in the world knows who the top billers are. They know who the players are. But there's rising stars out there who are maybe not as confident to put themselves out there yet,
yeah,
but are not necessarily in the right place that is good for them to nurture their careers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of bad RecRecs out there. For every good one, there's probably 6 or 7 really bang average ones or below.
Yeah.
And there's a big bias piece out there, right? And the number of times that we've heard it and seen it where it's sort of an engineering business and they're like, I need a blonde girl. Why? Now my clients love blonde girls. So it's like, right, let's create this anonymous thing where all I will tell you is what my billings are and the markets that I've operated in, how I made that money, retained, temp contract, whatever.
Yeah.
Fill out my profile like that. You don't know who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
We don't even know, as the product owners, we don't know who these people are either.
Okay.
And then it eliminates bias because then it say, hey, Mr. Engineering Recruitment Business Owner,
yeah,
do you really want just an attractive girl with no kind of billing experience as such, or do you want this person who's in your niche that's got this many clients, has worked on these sorts of vacancies, and this is what they're looking for?
Yeah.
And do you know what? That guy that person might be Adideo Ajiboji, or it might be John Smith, or it might be any combination of those things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because you're going after the candidate profile, not the bias elements.
Yeah.
And that was the whole idea because we know it exists. But you're right, it's hard to take the piss out of that because we are still in a very kind of, I don't think we're quite there yet.
Exactly.
We're not openly discussing it yet.
I was thinking more a case of like taking it back to the 2010s when it was even more so, taking the piss out of it there and saying, is it still like that kind of thing?
Listen,
bits of that.
I had business cards that said Nick Sharma.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys who used to pitch America who would bill out a bill and you know and all the rest of it kind of stuff. Oh, would you mind changing it?
Yeah.
And it's a very weird conversation. Not that I had the conversation, but it's a strange conversation to have with these guys because like they're just not going to get you in Atlanta, Georgia. They're not going to get your name, or they're not going to take a call from you, so you have to change it. So it's a strange thing.
Yeah. No, that's interesting though. You're right. Yeah. So what stops you then from going? Actually, no. Do you know what? No, this is a something I want to.
I think just I will definitely do those subjects in the future. It's just more a case of you've got to build a bit of confidence with it. I think as well. So right now I'm not necessarily.
So even with the amount that you've done already, and the positive reactions that you've had, and all that sort of stuff, there's still that element of like. Not quite there yet. I don't think I'm quite confident enough to real not stand on my business, but like do you know what I mean? Like really kind of hang my hat on this.
It's to an extent, like. But I'm at a point now where I kind of know what's gonna hit and what's not. And so it's like that. Then there's the argument is like, well, so you're just gonna like keep playing the hits, Dave, and keep doing stuff that is just gonna get engagement, but not really. Am I trying to add value? I don't know, but it's not really gonna. Go to the next level, whatever that may be. There's an argument to say that, but it's I'm not far away from it. Is what I'm getting at. Just doing a little bit more thought-provoking stuff.
I'm only turning up the heat a little bit.
100%.
Just to kind of let's test the.
You're right. You're right to ask the question. It's like, why don't I? So. Yeah, maybe this weekend I'll go get one done and then go. He's baited me into this.
Yeah. And then it absolutely flops. You're a dick. I can't believe you made me do that.
I've had a few hits in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So I don't mind taking it. I don't mind taking a dip now. To be fair.
No, look, I get it though, right? Because you always have that. There will always be that thing in the back of your mind and be like, am I really the right person to fly this flag? Am I really the right person to? Do you know what I mean? Like, is this my place to do this? And also,
I don't. Yeah, especially the 2 subjects that I mentioned there is mental health and diversity. I'm not the picture of diversity, am I? At the end of the day, so it's like, can you fly the flag for that? But like I say, I can't.
Well, I would always argue, absolutely, you're exactly the right profile too, right? Because
I can take the piss out of the people like me that are doing
this. That's it. Change happens from that point, right? Yeah. It's all well and good. People of and I had this exact conversation with. Joe Major, who's obviously massive in that diversity space. Yeah, that it's all well and good with Joe saying it, or somebody from the LGBTQ community talking about the LGBTQ sort of issues and failures in the systems and stuff for them. And it's all well and good for someone like me as a child of immigration talking about immigration. Yeah, but it's when the people you're trying to get through to turn around and be like, no, I get this. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like that's when okay, this has made a difference, right? True. Yeah, like I there were words that I would use when I was younger that I wouldn't dream of using now because I know it would offend the LGBTQ community.
Of course,
right? that's a powerful kind of like 360, more so than it is for somebody who's already part of that community to be like, no, people need to stop doing this. Well, You're going to say that, of course you are. You know? Yeah. Like, fair. Yeah. Right. So what's your advice to somebody then that's like, look, this sounds all good. I feel like I've got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get started? What do I need to do?
This is the one that I thought that you might ask me. So I was trying to like think, okay, where do we start? Like, as much as we didn't want a structure to this, I thought, well, I do want to add some value in some place. So maybe this is where we do it, right? So it depends where you're at in your journey with LinkedIn, right? Are you even posting right now? Are you doing anything? If you're not really even posting that much, or you're just doing, this is my job, this is the salary, etc., then just start with a picture of you. Like, even if you feel some kind of way about a selfie, you don't want to do that, then it's you in a restaurant, it's you after a run, it's you having a nice walk, whatever it may be. And I think it was Tom Boston just saying, like, selfie plus value on the script still works for the algorithm. I know it's not as heavy going now as video is.
It does, it
but a picture with your with your script, with your content, is going to do a lot better than just the content. And if it's then a picture of you, even more the better, because that's going to be getting your face out there is the whole point of this whole thing, is so that people recognize you, and when you call or whatever it may be, or when they think of I want to move, they come to you because they have an element that they know you because they've seen you, right? And so start off with a picture. I think get comfortable even just doing that. But then I would do something really, really low rent to begin with on the video. Set up the camera. Just do a hi LinkedIn. This is the job that I've got going at the moment. Something really simple. Unfortunately, it's not going to you're not going to blow up overnight. You're not going to go viral. But again, people are going to see.
No one out there is going to be like, "Oh my God, James just posted a job about a systems integration engineer." It ain't going to happen. Yeah. But people will start see, and you'll get more confident with it because
the confidence.
I think you're absolutely right. You need to see yourself on screen so many times before you're kind of like, okay, this don't feel weird anymore.
No, of course. And it's that low rent, it's maybe not the word, but it's that kind of low risk, let's say, that your mates aren't going to take the piss out of you for that one. You know, you're not, probably not even going to see it. Let's face it. If they're nothing to do with recruitment or the business world, if they're, joiners who don't get LinkedIn, they're not going to see it. No one's going to fucking seen this, what he's doing, how funny is this? No, it's not going to happen. So do a few of them to begin with, and then start to decide, okay, where do you want to move this into? Do you want to talk? Do you want to become a thought leader? And do you feel that you've got that knowledge of the industry to talk about what's going on in the industry, and who's getting the money in Series B and Series C and venture capitalists and blah blah blah? Or do you want to be a little bit more humorous? I don't know what. I suppose it's hard to say what the other angles necessarily.
Do you think it's important to just be you? Do you know what I mean? Like look, I don't take myself seriously.
Yeah.
Right. And the hardest thing I find is when I put out a video about something serious, like when I'm talking about thought leader stuff and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've really benefited from this platform because I sit with people who are really fucking intelligent in what they do,
of course.
And by de facto, people just assume that I am as well.
Yeah.
Right. But that's worked out for me really well. But not everyone's good. I'm not, I would never say to everybody, go and start a podcast, right? And whatever. But like, do you think it's important to be true to who you are? Like, if you if you didn't see the funny side in weird shit that happens all day long, like, it would be incredibly difficult to make funny videos, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Equally, if I was like, right, set up the camera and start talking about really critical issues like the tech landscape and AI and how it's going to impact the recruitment industry, you're going to be like, well, I mean, I have ideas on it, but like, I'm really not the right person to talk to about this.
Yeah, I suppose someone like 12 months into recruitment is not going to have that necessarily that knowledge and understanding of the industry. So what could they talk about if you're asking that to an extent? It is a difficult one. Like, maybe I'm getting too kind of serious in saying that you've got to narrow down your niche. Just I don't know. You just got to get talking about. Maybe you could move that. You could have a job. You could have job of the week. You could have a candidate of the week that you're speaking to. You could have.
I think it's more personal stuff.
Yeah.
I think where the trick is your personality and your personal side, right? There's this sort of, for me, I think there's two things that really are important to remember. The first is that LinkedIn are a social network. They are a social media platform. Whether you like it or not, whether your boss agrees with you or not, it is Microsoft don't own any other social media platform. So they treat LinkedIn as a social media platform. And then the evolution to that is people don't buy from people. People buy from people like them, or people buy from people they like. So it's a case of likability or relatability. If you're struggling to gain kind of business development traction because you're, you know, using that script of kind of, can I have 30 seconds, or do you want me to drown my nan, or like whatever, and you're struggling to kind of get any further than that, or you don't know what to do with your 30 seconds when you get it, that's where you want to start, right? If you're into, I used to, my early posts used to be talking about wrestling.
Oh, really?
If WrestleMania was coming up, I'd talk about WrestleMania.
Right.
If Royal Rumble was coming up, because me and the lads would all get together and we'd do it.
Well, you wouldn't even try and link it to
No, not even.
What that had me thinking about Jeff Hardy's Swanson Bomb.
Yeah. Here's how mankind being thrown 30 feet off a Hell in a Cell taught me about business development.
Yeah.
No, because I just thought that's stupid cheesy, but I need people to kind of, I need to get myself out there, right? And then that progressed into then, like, you find your tribe almost, right? And people are like, oh, yeah, you love wrestling, don't you? Yeah. You used to be a wrestler. I heard that on the grapevine. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. There's some videos in the vault somewhere, sort of thing. And it was the same with Lake District. So I'd go, okay, my out of office is going to go on to, I'm going away for 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm going to post a nice picture that I took in the lakes. And we're going to Lake District. We love going up there. These are my favourite walks. This is what I like to do. This, that, and the other. Yeah. This is a time before video. And it started getting to a point where I had clients and stuff would say to me, how was the lakes?
Nice.
I mean, I didn't even tell you that I was going to the lakes. No, I saw it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because lurkers exist. And lurkers make up the majority of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So the more you start talking about yourself and your personality and the things that you enjoy and the things that you like, the more people will start kind of going, huh, okay. I like this person, or I am like this person.
Do you think, is there a...
That's why pictures of dogs do so well. No, but whether you like it or not, that's why pictures of dogs do so well. Yeah. Right? Oh, we've got our pup in the office, and every fucking comment is like, oh, we can bring Max in every Tuesday. And like, you know, dog owners seem to love being dog owners and need to tell the world about it. Yeah. Right?
Is there a time somewhere in the future where there's too much of that on LinkedIn, it drives people away, and then this new thing sets up or something like that?
Quite likely. But I think what will happen is there'll be a generational divide then. I think the generation above us would go, oh no, we need a proper LinkedIn 2.0 that is just pure business. Yeah. And then everyone else will remain on what is the sort of the original platform. Yeah. We spoke about this at the team conference as well. We're in a world now where we're going back to sort of 1970s, 1980s business. You know, when they used to say, you know, business is done on the golf course sort of thing, right? That mentality is where we are now. Business is done at conferences, at networking events, at face-to-face meetings. Yeah. That's where business is done, right? All the rest of it is just marketing and door-opening opportunities. Yeah. So people will do business with people that they're like, I like you, or I feel like I like you, or I relate to you, right? And that will be the basis of their interaction. That is the world we're moving back into. Yeah. When you're doing a business call, when you're having a face-to-face meeting, whether you like it or not, 90% of that needs to be shit chat. Yeah. And then the 10% is, they already know what you do. Exactly. Come on now. Yeah. Right? If you've been invited in to speak to a client and you're sitting there and be like, so I speak to the best candidates in the world and I do this and we use
I'm an expert in my niche.
Do you think they're not heard that, right? Yeah. People have got a budget to spend, and they'll spend it with people they like. Yeah. Whether you like to understand that or not. Yeah. And so, for me, this whole kind of concept around video and social networking and stuff, that all leans into that. You're not getting invited on the golf course unless somebody feels like they want you to come on the golf course. Yeah. Right. And you can take golf as a perfect example, right? If your part-time hobby is going golf, and do golf, then make videos about that.
Yeah. 100%.
I've been working on my fucking swing. You'll be surprised how many people will comment and go, mate, you know, try this. Actually, there's this, there's that. Yeah. You know, I've seen people, a good mate of mine who's one of the Curry Club founders, James Whitelock, we had this exact same conversation. I said to him, you need to start posting more personal stuff, mate. People don't know you. People know you as the guy from Thinking Circles. People know you as the marketer. Yeah. You need to start doing more personal stuff.
And then you start
and now he started putting his weightlifting and weight training stuff on. The guy's been weight training for 15 years. Yeah. But he's never posted about it, or very rarely posts about it. Yeah. Now he's starting to do it, and people are giving him advice in their comments and that kind of thing. But that's opening up business opportunities for him. Yeah. Not on LinkedIn, as in people aren't going, hey, James, I'd love for you to sell marketing to me. But they're talking to him, and then that's opening up a conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Just like you will go through and go, you liked one of my videos here,
yeah.
You know.
And then you mix in, obviously, your business-minded stuff with that. Like, you can... you can utilize the algorithm obviously for something which gets a lot of engagement, your dog. And then the next time it's about, I've got this job, and guess what? Someone sees that job posting because they like your dog picture. That's and so on and so forth. Yeah. So there's got to be a mix, which is probably why I need to get back to doing a little bit more of call to actions and stuff. Because right now I'm just like, hopefully people laugh at this, and then they come back and they laugh again. And so
funny guy.
Yeah, really, I've got to be like, please, get in touch if you need a job, please. Please. Yeah, definitely.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I like that. Any closing thoughts? Do you want to plug Virtus? How do people get in touch with you? Tell them what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Virtus Talent, we're RecCircle based in Manchester, but work all across the country in the major cities. Do a lot of training stuff at the moment, but we are moving into experience. Whether you're looking to get into recruitment for the first time, or you've been in the industry for a long time and just looking for a change for whatever reason, we'd really love to speak to anyone in either of those situations. So drop me a message on LinkedIn, David Durant, obviously, or you can obviously hit the Virtus website, and all the information will be there. Virtus Talent.
Brilliant, mate. We appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you
so grateful.
Been good.
Thank you, mate.
Guys, good RecCircle are really, really hard to find. I know that from experience, being a former recruiter, senior recruiter, managing consultant, and then eventually going to run my own business and hiring through a combination of RecCircle and direct hiring. So, yeah, highly recommend you guys check David and the team out. Links to his profile and some of the videos that we talked about, and kind of how to reach out to him will be in the description below. But just want to say thank you very much for liking, sharing, subscribing, watching, and all the cool shit that you guys do to keep us at the summit of where we are right now. We are officially the world's biggest recruitment industry podcast channel, which is mad to say. Brilliant. Seeing the fact that we're sat in a fucking tiny little studio and being filmed on an iPhone and off a GarageBand recording software. But I from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Get started. Get on that video hype. Do it. It's worth it.
Just start.
And just start. Just start somewhere. Just start posting, and you'll see yourself the success that comes off the back of it. But until next time, we'll see you again. Well, that's good.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.